acting a fool at Disney. Have you
I don't know
seen
if I
that
caught up to that.
viral
What's that?
video?
What's that about?
Oh yeah, for the love of God. It was like this family, and of course they just happen to be, I'm a card carrying member of Please Don't Let Them Be Black. Well, right in there, it just got my nerves all bad. It was this black family, and they were in Toontown or something, some little cutesy Disney area for the babies, right?
Yeah.
And they are just acting an absolute gorilla, just acting an absolute monkey. It was this one dude. It was sad. It's just this one brother was hitting on two sisters. The sisters is hitting on him. The brothers is fighting. It was bad, man. It was just like, and it went on for like 5 6 minutes before like security came. Like you got little kids that are just being traumatized by the whole situation. Mommy, what's going on? And people are yelling and screaming. It
Wow.
was bad. It was
That's
like
whack,
if you
man.
could just wrap every black stereotype into one video and then blast it out. That one right there, it was just bad, man. I mean, yeah, it was some humorous aspects to it because you sit back and go, really, this is what you're doing. But on the flip side, you want to do the Homer Simpson meme where you just be like, I am not with them.
Wow. Okay. I gotta check this one out. I don't know if I've seen this one, man.
Yeah, it was popping over the weekend, and it was I think it's called like Toontown or something like that. But if
Toontown.
you just go to Yahoo, not Yahoo, if you go to
I'm about to say,
YouTube,
nigga, Yahoo.
and
What are we
yeah, I'm
doing? What are
sorry,
we doing here?
you go to YouTube and type
Let me
in
pop on
Disney.
AOL right quick.
I know, right? Dial up. You pop into YouTube and put in like Disney fight, and it
All
pops
right, let
up.
me
I
check
was
this
like,
shit
yo,
out.
this was terrible. It
All
was
right,
awful.
I gotta check this out
It was
while
awful.
you introduce the people to what we do. Hold on. Let me get the music playing right quick.
All right, well,
We
hold on. Let
spoke.
me let
You
me know.
ready to
You
go?
ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
On
One.
three.
Yep. Do it.
Okay.
Recording music is about to
Rocket.
pop in any second for all y'all long time listeners. Yeah. There it is. That's the music. You can hear it. It's got beats and a melody. Yeah. You can feel it. Uh.
Okay.
This is the intro. Yeah. This is the intro. This is where the
Yeah.
beginning. This is where the beginning go.
The Genesis.
What am I doing?
What's up, bro, man? How you doing over there, man? As you
Man,
see, we refresh off of the 4th of July
yeah,
weekend. Hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully people had some level of downtime, some level of time period where you was able to grill and kick back and just not worry about anything but that moment. Hopefully,
God
everybody had
willing.
at least that moment in space and time.
God willing. I mean, yeah, man. Fourth of July is everyone's favorite holiday, really. I mean, either you on some crazy, I love America shit, which how could
Right.
you? Or two, you on some fuck America shit. And like either way, you having a good time. You getting your life. You out here on these internet streets, out here putting your opinion out in the air. You know,
Right.
only thing I will say this is this. Uh, the holiday is basically just grilling and putting fireworks in the air.
Pretty much.
If you're not really fucking with that, it's hard to understand where your level of fun is like really calibrated at. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
understand. It's like we celebrate a whole lot of other bullshit too. Like Jesus enslaved you too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, we're gonna get to that later on in the show.
yeah, you know what I mean. So like, why y'all hating on this make believe for the? It's a day off, y'all. It's a day
It's
off.
a day off,
It's a day
exactly.
off. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
because you kind of had the combination of the super patriotic people, then you had the super woke people, and then you got people that are just kind of in the middle. And I'm just one of those one in the middle people. Like, hey, look, I really don't care about too much of all that other stuff. Just let me know who's got the coldest watermelon,
Yeah,
uh,
man.
who's got some hot dogs on deck,
Real talk.
and where's the shade? That's it.
That's it. I'm a pragmatist. I want my day off. I don't give a fuck how we justify this. I
Exactly.
just want to not go to the plantation. Is that good? Is that
Ex-
good?
ex- for that day,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
That's
it.
what I'm talking about.
So
All
I had a
right,
good
well,
one.
cool, man. So since we back and everything like that, we got to welcome the people who are on Facebook, who watching us live. What's going on?
What's
We
up,
got to
y'all?
welcome the people who listen to us on a weekly basis to episode 73. If we come from bad news, I'm Al. That is my brother Nyaze. We each other's co-hosts. This week we got another variety of topics that we're going to dive into, but we're not going to talk about all that. We're just going to start to dive into them and do what we do.
That's
So
right.
let's start off with trending topics. We call our trending topics the bottom line. We named it the bottom line because it represents the people who stay, reside, breathe at the bottom of Hampton Roads, which we affectionately call the bottom. So
Yes.
we know that their opinions are going to be real and authentic, and we're going to be in the same vein as we discuss these trending topics. Let's get it. All right.
Yay.
Illinois becomes the 11th state to legalize recreational marijuana. This is a beautiful thing. I look at it as another door open, another state that is open
It's
to
a
the
beautiful thing.
wonderful effects of the sativa. My brother, your thoughts on Illinois, Chicago?
I mean, it's just way overdue, man. I love basically really what I love is I just like the way that the coast is just sort of like it's just spilling from coast to coast. Like we hot the West Coast, just got high, and not Illinois. The Midwest is getting high. New York
Yeah,
almost got high, but they pussied out at the very end. Sorry, they dicked out at the very end because pussy is strong and dick is weak.
indeed.
They dicked out at the very end and didn't really pass it and make it legal, but they did decriminalize a whole bunch of it. Colorado was legal. So, I mean, how else could I feel? I'm a weed smoker. I'm a cannabis connoisseur. I love this.
Church.
Actually, what's funny is that the great granddaughter of Emily Post, who wrote all these seminal books on just like the on like what you should. Oh wow, hold up, I gotta restart the thing. Stopped recording for a second, so I have to redo it. Okay, there we go. We're back. Um, but Emily Post, who wrote all these seminal books on like just etiquette and like how to behave in certain social situations and certain social functions, her great granddaughter just wrote a book called Higher Etiquette, which is basically on how we should relate and how you should get down with the cannabis. And
Nice.
one of the things that I really liked about it, how it started off was uh, we don't call it weed no more. We don't even call it
Yeah.
marijuana. We don't even call it marijuana anymore because these are slang terms that had to be adopted in order to like hide and obfuscate the use of this other stuff. Wow, Tracy's
Right.
really getting her life right now.
Yeah, yeah, they don't
But
care. And if I say anything, everybody get an attitude. So let's just keep it moving.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, you're just getting the whole treatment. I've just never heard him that lit. To be honest, I've normally he's always mad quiet over it. I'm like, damn, do you
it's
have a
good time.
family? But tonight they are
It's
like on and popping. Okay,
it's good times over here,
I
baby.
like it.
It's
I
good
like it.
times.
I like it. So, yeah, I feel like now. So now she's basically saying we should refer to it by its proper name, like call it cannabis or flower and these kind of things. Things that real connoisseurs and real heads have kind of
Endear terms of endearment.
terms of endearment, yeah, instead of terms of denigration, because like clearly weed is shit that you want to not grow,
I agree.
right? You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
that. I like
Yeah.
everywhere where this is going.
So
I like this whole line of
I
thinking.
just like this current I just like this maturation of sort of cannabis culture. Sorry, pardon me, my habit of cannabis culture, and it's growing up, man, and I think it's a beautiful thing. We should tax it. I can't wait to find some companies to invest in. I've been doing some research and finding some stocks that I can invest in. I should, man, like
I'm totally with that too. I've just been leery because it's still fairly new out there, and I don't know much about it. So just like you, I just have to really research and kind of know what I'm getting into. But I'm with it. I mean, it's definitely the
It's
new
money. It's
frontier.
like clearly
Yeah,
out there. It's
yeah, yeah.
money. I'm using the product. I've already vetted the the utility of the product. You know what I'm saying? I know
You
this shit.
followed the first rule of investment. You have to go with stuff that you use and believe in.
Yes,
And so you figure,
absolutely.
hey, I'm already here, you know.
Yeah, amen. Exactly right. Exactly right. So, anyways, yeah, net positive for the human race.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I think the bottom line on that is we definitely like that. So I think the only thing I can say on that is keep going.
Yeah, and even better.
Um,
But actually, one thing I would do want
Shaka
to
Khan.
one thing I do want to add though before we add it,
Go
the
ahead.
thing that's even more important than that though is that they are expunging the records of
Yeah, like it was
nonviolent offenders, like
like
over eight
it was
hundred
like a
thousand,
bunch of
like
people.
yeah, like almost a million people, man, like nearly like crazy amount of people who had cannabis on their records for no good goddamn reason. Nonviolent offenders, people who are having their records expunged. This is a much more valuable, like we talk
Yeah,
about reparations today. This is what I want
yeah.
to see in terms of like practical application of fucking remedy to wrongs done.
I couldn't have said that better. And you're
Yeah.
right. That is a great point to bring up. And I thought that was outstanding too, because I was like, it kind of gave me a moment where I said, well, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Right on. So yeah,
Be
that's dope.
about it about
So
it.
yeah.
Be
So
all the
more
way thorough.
states definitely take advantage of that. Georgia, you're up next. Y'all crack the door.
Come
Go ahead
on.
and kick that boy
I'm
right on
trying to
in.
move
Kick
to
it on
Atlanta,
in.
yo. I'm trying to move to
Uh,
Atlanta, but let's get
it,
legal.
hey, listen, man. There's a crack in the door with the oil. So at least the good news is that people who have seizures and little kids like that have different
That's
things like
something.
that, they can get that. They can get that here in their home state. But hopefully, we can go ahead and kick that door in. All right, Chaka Khan was not feeling Kanye's Through the Wire
But
in a
damn.
recent interview out there on the interwebs, the internets, the Twitters of the world. Chaka said, "Yeah, we talked about kind of the vision behind the song and what was going to happen, and then later on, when I heard what was put out, it really wasn't what I thought it was going to be." She said she wasn't feeling it. Initially, she said stupid, but then she kind of walked that back, like, well, not stupid, just I just didn't understand it. I wasn't really feeling it. So the great Chaka Khan was not feeling one of Kanye's first hits out there. Ouch. How we
Yeah.
feeling about
I
that?
don't know
Damn.
how to. I mean, honestly, man. First of all, it's just so messy. I mean, it's
That's Chaka
always,
Khan,
yeah.
baby.
It's crazy. I mean, she's a goddess. She's a legend. There's no
Absolutely.
way that we could talk bad about her, for the sake, especially for the sake of a demi-coon like Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying
Yeah, there's
Kanye.
not a lot of sympathy oozing from my
You know
pores
what I'm
on this
saying?
one. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you. He got G
Yeah,
checked,
like we
and
not you're not even in good standing with the lodge, so I can't even pretend like I'm gonna attack a elder, a pillar of the
show
community.
up,
Or
especially not somebody that made I feel for you. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
man, come on, and I mean I feel like Kanye would even understand that. It's like, yeah, nigga, you asked her for the vocals, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you understand. But what I wondered though is if this isn't more. Thing we forget about Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan militant as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, she
Shaka
came up
Khan,
in that,
yeah,
man.
Chaka Khan been Black Panther, been Black militancy, been Black Panther, been Afro, been all of that
Yep.
shit. So I do wonder if it isn't more of a reflection of how Kanye is currently situated in the culture right
Currently
now.
moving. I thought about that's an
Yeah.
excellent point. I thought about that too. Like, yeah, I mean, she might not have been feeling it, but you say to yourself, well, damn, you waited like, 10, 15 years to go, yeah, I ain't feeling it. You
Yeah,
could
and
have
how
kind
many
of put that
millions, yo,
energy
and how
out
many
there
millions,
years ago.
and how many millions of dollars too? Come on, like that's corny. Like you talking
Yeah.
about, you thought it was stupid, but you cashed a check. Come on,
You're definitely
you
cashing those
cashed a
checks.
check.
She
Come on.
made it clear that she is getting paid from
Yeah, and
that
like
song.
if
So
she was
it's
a
just like,
regular person, that would be corny. But because you Shaka, you can get that off. And like we understand that you chastising Kanye and that you scolding him. But I personally don't like that. Be okay. So this is the minimal criticism I have because I'm a grown person and I can have an opinion. But the
you
only
can't.
yeah, I if I'm interpreting events correctly, and I think I think Shaka was reprimanding Kanye for the way he's currently moving a little bit. But I think the way to do that, man, if you at a level like Shaka, as you call him, I think
Yeah.
when you at a level where you could just actually communicate with a motherfucker, you just communicate, and you can get a lot more done than public shaming. You know,
Totally agree.
I feel
Totally
like I
agree.
feel like this kind of thing is if I was still of the mind where I gave a fuck about what Kanye was doing, I would feel like this is the way that you lose a Kanye. Like if I'm Kanye and then everybody start talking shit about me and talking about my first #1 hit was I'm like, well, fuck y'all niggas, man.
Yeah.
like real talk.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. That'd probably be my same
I'd be like,
attitude too.
fuck
And I
y'all
feel where
niggas.
you at with
Give a
that.
fuck
Yeah,
about y'all.
I do think it's around the way he's been moving, and she kind of voiced her displeasure with that. Because my thing is, I mean, you held on to that. You could have easily just called him up and said, hey, I'm not feeling it. But again, you've been cashing those checks. But that's how Shaka do.
That's true too.
She's got the
She
cachet,
can
the
move
right
like that. She can
to
move
come
like
out
that.
there and kind of say what she says. So she decided to go the I said what I said route. So it is what it
Yeah,
is.
no,
So
respect the goddess. The queen can say whatever she want, and
it,
look, low key, nobody's really arguing. I mean, if you go back and
nah,
listen to
really.
that song wasn't that. It doesn't have a ton of replay value actually. It doesn't. Like if you go back and actually
It's
listen to the
cool.
song,
I
yeah,
like the
it's like
story.
it's
I like
saying.
the story behind.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The story is what really gives it its legitimacy.
Right.
But like if you go back and listen to the song, it's not better than everything that came after it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So
Definitely, if you have to look in his catalog, it would probably be in the weaker area of
yeah,
songs
and
that
also let's
at
look
least
at and also just
comparison to.
one more other thing about that. What up, nephew? One other thing about that is that the way she was complaining about it, it was definitely because he sped up her vocals like a chipmunk.
Yeah,
You like, I mean,
he
really,
did.
also, you took Chaka Khan's vocals and you like, come on, bruh. Come on, bruh.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, bruh.
yeah. No, I feel you. I
She
feel
listened
you.
to that.
Yeah.
She was like, why you got me sound like Alvin? She don't understand the context and the nuance. If I was to have another interpretation, that's it. That's the only thing.
No, no, no. I think that you're right on point. I think you're interpreting that all good. So you added a nice little bit of nuance to that. So on that bottom line, hey, Shaka Khan wasn't feeling it, and she's got every right to feel that way. It
Yeah,
is what it is.
I
All right,
feel for you.
Serena finally gets on the Wheatie box. Uh,
Hey.
yeah, and then in the other van, then on the other side, Venus passes the torch. Maybe not, will voluntarily, but she ends up passing the torch to the next level of greatness in terms of Coco. I forgot Coco's last name, but I know she's from Atlanta, Georgia, and I
Yeah.
know she's doing big things like that. But first and foremost, let's get to the good stuff. So, well, it's all good stuff. Serena
Yeah.
basically is finally getting on the Wheaties box. We having ourselves a big bowl of black girl magic. Let's go.
Yes. Way past doing that shit. I mean, I just love all of this black girl magic shit is dope
I love it.
with
I
the
love
black
it too.
mermaids and all this stuff. Coco, I think she just got knocked out of
I think
yeah,
earlier
just
today.
yeah, earlier today, which is fine. Whatever. This is your first trip or whatever to this level, and you got many more years to show them black excellence and everything. I mean, not that you haven't demonstrated it up until this point, but I think it's like I think it's done now, yo. I think this shit is just black girl land now. I think it's like black women are gonna, now that they got a role model and an image to aspire to,
Several.
y'all can fold
Yeah.
this shit up. Y'all can fold this shit up and put it back in the drawer, and just go play hockey. I think this is over.
It's their time.
Yeah,
It's their time,
yeah.
and it is what it is, and it's obvious that you just can't stop what can't be stopped. I think it's great. I think that Serena's been bodying the game for many years, and I think it's well deserved and long overdue for that. On the other side of the spectrum, in terms of with Venus, it was bittersweet because it's like on one end of the scale, you love to see the new generation of player coming up that's able to get their just due to be able to play on that big level, to be 15 years old, similar age and stuff to Serena and Venus. So you can kind of
She's
see,
15?
she's
No.
15 years old.
No. No. Really? Oh my God.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, from Atlanta,
Oh
Georgia. I
my
had to say that again.
fucking
From
God,
ATL,
dog.
baby.
Dog, she's playing a grown ass. She's playing
Grown
grown ass
woman.
people.
Yeah,
She's
and took her
15.
down and did it with grace
Get the
and did
fuck
it with
out
class,
of
paid homage
here,
to the
bro.
legend. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to see. I mean, and then she came back and still won some other tournaments. So the girl is bad. I mean, she definitely knows what she's doing. She's a young prodigy in the making. I can't wait to see her finally take the whole thing
Oh my
over.
fucking God. She is 15 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
And one more time for the cheap sheets. She's from Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL. ATL.
She's representing the ATL.
Capital of Black America. Capital of Black America.
Doing big things in the A. But no,
Wow.
I thought
Wow.
that was great, and I thought that she handled
That's
it
incredible.
with an outstanding amount of grace and respect to the person that inspired her. So, but on the other end of the scale, like I said, it was bittersweet. You know that point that
But how old is
at
Serena?
some point in time, yeah, I don't know. She's I know
Serena
she's
got to
getting
be
up
near
there,
40, right?
if not already. But I mean, at some point in time, we're gonna see them, start to fade
She's
and
37.
start to kind of start to make their descent to playing doubles together, and then eventually kind of fade into the darkness. But man,
Damn,
it's
that's
just
dark, bro. I thought I was dark.
I'm just saying it's morbid though, because it's like,
I prefer to
let's
think
be
of it.
honest. I want to see heroes stay on top. At least
That's
we
not
know it's
no.
not realistic.
See, luckily, I'm not a sports dude like you, so I don't have to.
Love it. I want to see them dominate forever.
No,
I
no,
know
no,
it's
no.
never going to happen, and I know we should just enjoy these precious
Yeah,
moments
this
doing
is
it. But
what's
it's like
the
well,
the beauty is the perfect form that they achieve in the limited time that they're allowed to do it. You know what I mean? Like if you achieve perfect, like if like every nigga in the hood, the minute they could throw a tight spiral, it was like, oh, this
it
dude
was
going to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like that
you already count the
yeah,
check.
you count because it's all about that. It's all about the beauty of that perfect form that we're looking for. Even I understand that about sports, and I'm not a big sports guy, but with
Right.
Serena, like she's already, especially with all the cameras today, man. Athletes living the best time ever. Like Shaq, I see this nigga aging into this commercial dude now. Doing commercials for everybody and whatever, and I'm like, Good for you, bro. You ain't got nothing to prove, man.
Yeah,
He could pull
I
up the
agree.
tape. He got the tape and the footage. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't never got to question what the fuck I could do when I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Here it is.
Absolutely.
Against
Shaq is transformed into just a great.
he's
Just
aged
I love
gracefully,
everything
man.
Shaq is about, man. I love
So
everything
I'm
he's
just
about.
yeah, man. I like the new challenge of everybody welcoming the challenge of aging. You know, like how people age now. We doing it different than our folks did, bro. We doing it different.
Yeah,
You just did this
we
the
ain't
Peachtree
playing.
race. Yeah, you just did the Peachtree race. You still running like this for no good goddamn reason. No
No
good
reason
goddamn
at
reason.
all. And I matched my best time of last year. I did not beat it, but I did match it again. Damn right.
Hey, that's
10
all right,
pieces.
man. You look to maintain at our age, to maintain and not lose time at our age. That is actually gaining time. You know what I'm
I agree.
saying?
I
Real
agree.
talk.
That's
So
how I
no,
took it.
I see it all as a victory, man. Perfect form. You manifest, and then all flame must be extinguished. But then it always ignites again. So you know. So I love to see. So the blessing is to see the flame ignite before the flame is died out. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's always bright. It's warm. It's bright. It's always happening over here. It's always going on.
I'm with you. The next level of Venus Serena is they're going to kind of team up and do doubles, and I think they're going
Mm-hmm.
to dominate in that for a bit. And I
Kill it.
think eventually we're going to see them kind of do their farewell. It will be like I said, it's going to be bittersweet for me because I'm one of those people who likes to sit back and watch the dream. I want to see Superman fly around as
Yeah,
long
yeah,
as
yeah.
possible.
Well, yo,
That's just
but
how.
now we got Coco.
Now we got
And
Coco
now
coming
Coco
up.
is learning how to fly. I can't wait to
And,
see 15. Oh my
yeah,
god!
wait
Can
wait
you
till she exactly.
imagine? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
she's not even at her
Oh
peak.
my
She's
god!
still on the ascent. Yeah,
Oh
it's gonna
my
be great to
god!
see.
22
So
years. She got 22 years to catch up to where Serena is right now.
and I hope
22.
she does nothing but work and then she brings it back to the
Win,
A. That's
girl.
gonna
All we
be
do
big.
is win. Win.
All
Yeah.
right, cool, man. Let's get into this new segment real quick before we dive into these
Yes.
main topics real fast. I wanted to kind of put something together, kind of shake the show up a little bit as well. We kind of do different rants on this particular show anyway, but this time we're going to kind of have what I call a concentrated blast. We're going to kind of have a focus level of where we kind of do it here. I had something that I've been kind of bouncing around with Yaze called random thoughts from the back of the Pentran. If anybody has lived in Hampton Roads, specifically Hampton or Newport News, you have ridden at some point in time the
Wow.
Pentran bus.
Wow.
You
The
have
pin
gone from
trend.
downtown. You have gone from uptown. You've gone to military. Oh, sorry, no, that's Norfolk. You've gone to Coliseum Mall. You've
Yeah.
gone to what was the other one we used
Oh
to work?
shit, the north and south. They had north and south
Yeah, you
even.
know what I'm talking
I know
about. I
exactly what you
forgot.
mean.
It'll
God,
come to me. Either way, I'm sorry. The malls and everything that was
I
around there,
just took a
Patrick
big hit.
Henry, all these other places around there. You've been to that,
Yeah.
and you've been on that Pentran. It wasn't the fastest moving vehicle. And many times you would see 2 to 3 brothers, if not more, that just sat in the back of that Pentran, and they would always have that same look on their face, like, I'm here.
The
I'm
pin
just trying to
trend.
do it. And every now and then you would talk to those brothers, and they would always have a story. It would always
Yes.
be something that would occur or be said in the back of that Pentran bus.
Yes.
Well, damn it, we're going to take a hot moment to
Yes.
basically go through any random thought that might be on our mind, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, or whatever you want to categorize it as. And we're going to call it Random Thoughts from the Pentran. Sir, do you want to kick this quick segment off with random thought?
I got
What's
it.
on your
No doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna make it. You got me thinking about Newport News, so I'm gonna talk about that in particular. Just a random thought, man. This shit has always haunted me. I don't know why. It's the weirdest fucking thing ever, man. But whenever I go back home, speaking of the Pentran bus, which I rode a lot, and I still to this day don't understand what is it named after. Pin what?
Oh,
We're not in.
Peninsula
Oh, is
Transit.
that what it is? Peninsula. Oh my
No,
god.
this just happened. I didn't say that's what it was. It
Okay,
just
I'm like, I honestly do
I'm
not know.
discipling it to me. I
It
don't know,
doesn't
man.
make any. I'm like, we're not in Pennsylvania. What the fuck is this mean, Pin Train? Why is it called it
It's
anyway?
around the peninsula, yeah.
Yeah, we're in a peninsula.
I'm
Okay,
guessing, and someone can feel free to correct me. I'm just guessing.
no, that makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking of. But I would ride the bus and I'd be coming back down from Denby and I'd be coming back to 20th Street and I'd ride that bus. And I remember every time, and now when I drive my car going back there, what the fuck are all these women in their strollers and their babies doing all goddamn night, man? Rolling these strollers up and down the goddamn sidewalk all goddamn night, man. I was like, to this day it still happens. I was just back there like a couple months ago, man, and it was like,
And you're still seeing this.
bro, I was like, what the? I mean, I used to joke and be like, maybe they are selling drugs or something, but I think that's too industrious. A prognosis. I'm like, I think it might be. I don't know what's going on. I really
They're
never.
all going to the same babysitter.
Jeez, bro. Somebody from the news. This is my question, y'all. Somebody from the news, please hit me up and tell me what is going on. Are motherfuckers just visiting all night? Are they selling drugs? Are there
So when you
babies
say
in these
all
strollers?
night, are you like going out there at 11 and 12 o'clock at
That's
night?
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about 11, 12 o'clock at night. Like, not necessarily late enough for everything to be closed, but definitely late enough for the baby to be in bed. You know what I'm saying? And it always be some mothers with a stroller strolling down the street, strolling on the sidewalk, and I just don't understand what's going on. Never changes, never alters. It's been 20 goddamn odd years I've been going out back home to visit my mama, and it's always the same motherfuckers. Oh, that's my children. So I'm just want to know, Newport News family, if y'all out there, please contact me and educate me, man. Tell me what the fuck is going on out there. Are we still slanging? Are we still pumping? Is they still crackheads out there? It's hard for me to believe, man, that people are still smoking crack. Are we at least on fentanyl or something? Hit me up, man. I want to know what's going on the streets
Y'all
right
need
now.
to definitely go pharmaceutical. All right, well, we want to know. He wants to know
That's my
what's
question.
the
Hit us
deal
up.
with the strollers. He's in the back of the Pintrant. That was his random thought. Mine goes more to a more social media route. I've got a variety of people who are on my different pages, and I'm on theirs from different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth. And I like people who post interesting stuff. I like people who try to, put some level of thought into presenting kind of what their world is and their perspective. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody's not creative. Everybody ain't trying to do that. I'm also okay with the simpletons that just kind of keep it real simple, and I can work with that.
85%, man. We love the 85%.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong
I'm
with the
cool with that.
Yes.
But the people who just, and this is, I'm in the back of the Pintrant, so this is what it is. People get on my damn nerves. Are you memers? I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like,
Okay,
I've seen memes just totally ruin all kinds of internet experiences in terms of that, because it's like, check it out. Like, initially you're on someone's page, right? And they're showing you themselves, their family, or hell, their vacation or what they're doing. Well, they might share something randomly on their mind. They might share a news story, an observation, a quote, a haiku, whatever it might be going
some personal
on. Right?
Shit though.
Something personal to some degree. It ain't got to go knee deep. We don't have to know about all your problems. Everybody's different. But I'm saying something, right? That's what it starts off with. You and this person have that type of dialogue. Then all of a sudden they just decide, you know what? Screw it. I'm tired of coming up with content. I'm tired of that. I'm just going to go straight memes. And so this person that you've known for years, you've been looking at their stuff, all of a sudden, there's nothing on their page but just straight memes. So now, and you know how memes are. Memes are like emotionally schizophrenic. One day it's happy, one day it's sad. Well, I'm not even going to say one day. I'm sorry. People be posting memes like every 5 minutes. One moment is happy, one moment is sad, one minute is sexual, one moment is disgusting, next moment it's racist, another moment it's totally morbid. It's just like all over the place. And then they'll say to you, then the person that posts them will say to you, this is not my life. Well, then why the fuck are you posting it?
You know what, there's a thing like, okay, no, you're hitting on something. Okay, we've accidentally stumbled into like a really deep conversation because I've been thinking about this shit, man. Like basically, how much of you do I need to know? Like privacy. Like, okay, we always talk about privacy in terms of like our data and like them selling us shit. But like, actually, to be honest with you, that's the least meaningful application of my data that you can use. Like, to sell me some shit, easy. I was already gonna buy it anyway. Real talk. That don't even really matter.
Right.
Where the data gets really weird and shit is when you start talking about people stalking motherfuckers, people building psychological profiles of individuals in order to manipulate them and exploit them and grift and grab them and shit like that. You know, like which is happening, which happens, which is part of, internet crime. So some of me, I'm just used to wonder, like, it used to be a time when we wanted something to be mysterious about ourselves.
Yeah.
That we wanted some mystique, but I feel like what memes are is that they reveal a lot about what we're thinking, but
Yes.
they give us sort of the cover of what a lot of people are sharing. It's a meme. I
It's a
didn't.
meme. It's a joke. It's just
It's
like
a
this.
joke.
Like
Ha
this.
ha
It's
ha.
truly how they might be feeling, but they can mask it under the cover of a meme. Oh, it's just a
Yeah.
meme. Don't take me serious. I'm just being racist, but don't take me serious. I'm just being disgusting and
Right.
morbid, but don't take me
Right. I'm a
serious.
sexist, but don't think
Right,
I'm a
right.
misogynist.
Oh, it's a
But
meme.
yeah,
Haha.
yeah. No, real talk. No, it's. I feel like the whole. I just feel like, man, there's a whole overall desire for authenticity and shit, and that we ain't and that's what you're talking about. Like no, you think niggas is boring, man. Motherfuckers ain't really
Yeah.
got nothing to really talk about, dude. I was just thinking about this the other day. There's a friend of mine that I see on the gram all the time, and when he posts, it's like some very like compelling hotep type shit. You know, like he always. I don't want to get too specific actually, because this motherfucker might listen.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know how people are there. I saw you. Don't talk about
Yeah,
nothing else. I
yeah.
saw that one when you was talking about me,
Yeah,
son.
so I ain't even gonna do that. But I'm gonna just say the dude make his life look real bohemian and real progressive and like doing shit and like inspirational. And then when I ran
Right.
into him in real life, just on a fucking humbug, because I hurt my toe and needed. I was like, just looking. It was like bad, bro. It was bad, bad. It's like the difference between this Instagram life and where people really are and what they really going through. The other
Yup.
24 hours of the day, man. The other 23 hours and 58 seconds of the day, man. It's 58 minutes of the day. It's drastic, bro. And like I feel like a lot of the reason that we don't know how bad shit is right now in the country, because they say the economy is doing good. Because niggas like me and you is doing okay. You know, like
Right.
we got white collar jobs, no pun intended, where you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah, we make some decent money.
we
Yeah.
make decent money. Not even good money, y'all. Not rich people money. Like middle class money. The last middle
Word.
class money you can make, really. And
Word.
but the rest of the country is working part time jobs and selling Herbalife and shit like that, trying to get by. And
Right.
I think the reason it gets covered up is because we always sharing these funny memes and and latching onto these hashtags and posting the most idealized version of ourselves on social media, so that
Yup.
none of us get the overall impression like that somebody is really fucked up at the game. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And you just don't get the true person. And we can wrap this up and kind of move to our main topic. But yeah, it's just like you don't get the real person. And it's like like I said, and I've seen like regular pages turn into just straight that. And I just gotta say, just from a standpoint of that, you uncreative son of a bitch, will you please communicate something that's real,
Tell me
that's
what's going on.
authentic to some way, shape, or form.
Yes,
I realize it's difficult to come up with content that don't say anything at all.
that's right.
This is just my thoughts. I'm sorry, just don't say nothing. But these people that just have these whole pages dedicated to these things, I just want to let you know I block and unfollow you often. Just telling you, I just do, because every time I see it, I just roll my eyes like, oh, for the love of God. All right, I love you, but post your original thoughts.
Fair
Let's see
enough.
who you are. The thing Facebook even gave you an instruction. What does Facebook say? They probably don't even say it because we just so busy typing. What does it say? What's on your mind? That's it.
Yeah,
That's my rant from the back of the prep chat. All right, cool. Let's dive into this main topic real quick, go, bro.
let's do it.
God, you and I have talked about religion on this show
A
more than a
lot.
few
Yeah, a
occasions.
lot.
One topic we haven't gotten into
Dubbing.
is really dubbing all that stuff. Is God, in terms of the concept of
Yes.
the practice of the philosophies around things like that. So I
It's my
figured
favorite
let's
thing.
start at the let's yeah, and I know, as a young boy, you basically were someone that did a lot of studying on that. You always were very curious about, different philosophies and religions and things like that as well. You taught me a lot when I was younger, and you kind of sparked a lot of different thoughts that we're going to talk about on this particular episode.
Yeah.
But let's talk about our earliest memories, but because we've gotten a lot into doctrine and philosophies. I want to talk about just the concept of God,
Dig.
uh, a
Dig.
higher being. what are your earliest memories? And we'll start there of that. Like, how were you introduced to that in terms of, how were you approached about it, how that evolved? Tell us your earliest memories of God, and I'll bounce off of you with that too.
Very
Let's go.
simply, very simple. Grandma. First conscious memories of indoctrination, of formal religious tutelage, of what was and was not real. Ultimately, what came from my grandmother, and Annie Ruth. My mother had me when she was 30, right? But
Hmm.
by the time she was 33, 34, she was divorced. And she had never had a childhood. So the minute she got free from her marriage, and my big brother Richard was already 11 years older than me, so he was already a grown man, mostly.
Right.
She went fucking crazy, right? The reason this is important, the reason I'm setting the context of this is that my grandmother was the only one with a presence of mind to even consider what I should believe or should not believe, right?
Right.
So she was a Christian. She's a Baptist Christian, and she taught me that God was a male spirit, which originated the world from His ineffable, unfathomable power.
We,
you
we,
know,
we came up. We came up in the same
yeah,
song.
you know what I'm saying? And fashioned the universe in 6 days. Uh,
Rested on the
six,
seventh.
six, yeah, 6 literal days or figurative days, depending on how deep your pastor was, right? Yeah,
Church.
yep, and then yeah, like you said, rested on the seventh. God damn it, rested on the seventh. That's important for some reason. That's why,
Very
because
important.
that's why we here today to give tithes. Uh,
I knew this was gonna be interesting.
Bro, yeah, man, very literal, very tangible and tactile deity. When it thundered and lightninged, then electronics were turned off in the household.
Phone conversations were
Phone
limited.
conversation, yeah, phone. Who you got to talk to? So no, nothing,
Lord's out there
nothing
working
that
right now.
required,
Be
yeah,
quiet.
nothing that required buttons was in operation.
Old people.
All that shit turned off. And we sat in
Nah,
silence as the thunder would crack and boom, and she would say the Lord was speaking. And then every Sunday we went to church, and every Wednesday we would go for some reason. And I can't even remember why.
a lot of church in
Yeah, a
our
lot of
lives,
goddamn
bro.
church. Yeah, a lot of church, man.
See, we came into it very similar. I could say mine was a combination of my mother and grandmother. They were just,
Mm.
they teamed up on me. But I remember my earliest memories with my mother, and it was just me and her at that point. Her and my father hadn't reconnected again yet, and I remember her just kind of, her and my grandmother kind of just talking to me and going, uh, and introducing me to a higher power in terms of, creation and the Bible, and letting me know about, how you should follow the certain codes
How do
and
they?
live a
How?
certain life.
What were the scenarios that they would literally teach you
Oh
the stuff?
God.
Would you
Well,
be?
see, and I was about to I was slow walking it, but yeah. I always tell my mother, and she's not a fan of when I say this, but it's just the truth. I was sodomized by religion and God. I was like, they didn't grease me up. They just got at me. Um, my mother and grandmother would tell me things that, if you don't follow what you need to follow, then that angers God. The whole heaven and hell concept came in real quick.
Yes,
So they
yes.
scared the hell out of me in terms of the wrath and everything. And similar to yourself, they took me to church and
I would say you
Baptist.
might have been more church than I was.
Yes, I was because
Because
my
my mama
grandma
almost
was
basically
crazy.
gave up on me by the time I was like 14 or so. She was like, well, whatever the fuck you gonna do, you gonna do, you know.
No,
But
my mom and grandmother have no, they were not quitters at all. You hear me? Those were some soldiers. Those are some soldiers for the Lord. You hear me? My mother and
Your
my
mother
grandmother
was
was a church
relentless.
head, and
Yes.
my mother to this day is a church head. So
Your
if
mother
I was
had
in,
your mother actually had one of the had one of the most profound had one of the most profound religious effects on me.
really, talk. Go ahead, talk.
Real talk, like it was a one of it was there's a lot of experiences, but one stands out in my mind that I remember is it was right before I was going to graduate, or right as you were going to graduate. No, it's right as you were going to graduate. And
Okay.
I remember Jimmy was that nigga was there, and sorry, and we were playing. We was playing. I didn't even tell you, man. That nigga reached out to me on some crazy shit, man. But I didn't even bring it up to you because I was like, I already knew you was done with it. But
Oh, later,
yeah,
later.
yeah,
Yes, let's
later.
go.
Yeah, it was wild. It was. I was like, what? Anyway,
Man, listen, go, go,
yeah.
go.
Anyway, but we was all at the crib. We would play Uno. We play a lot of motherfucking Uno that
Nothing
night.
wrong, bro.
Yeah, and I gotten in one of my antichrist moves where I was going through a phase at that point. I think I was mad mostly because you were going to college and I was like being left behind in high school, and I was like, this shit. I'm like, I can't believe this. You know, like, oh my god,
Yeah, I
I
ain't
was
gonna lie,
so
that
pissed.
messed with me too. Because
Yeah, I
I
was
said,
so
damn, I
pissed.
want to see my partner,
I
man.
was
I
so
didn't want to
pissed.
go through that experience without you. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I was pissed, but I was taking, and in retrospect, I can see that, but I was taking it out on everything, and so I was like I was very, what do you call it? A religious atheist. I was very atheist at that moment, and I was arguing with your moms. Your moms was so sweet because most black women that believe in Jesus would just be like,
I will cuss you out in the name of the
let
Lord.
me
You hear
tell
me?
you what I'm not finna do with you, young little nigga. Okay,
Right.
and I'm about to
Right.
argue about my savior, about the God I serve.
Basically,
You know,
we gonna
so
get into that too.
oh my God. So she was so sweet because she would sit there and argue with me and debate. And your mom was always intelligent. You know, she's an educated woman. So she wasn't like, wasn't talking about no stupid shit. She was like, actually could, she could talk. She could actually speak back to you. And I remember the one thing she said to me at the end of the thing, she said, listen, you're going to go to college. You're going to grow up. You're going to do all this shit. And you're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff. She ain't curse. All this kind of stuff. She said, but one day, you're going to get tired of it all and you're going to come back to church. And it haunted me. It haunted me, man. Because every time I would find myself in a crisis, I'd be like, am I going back to church now? No, fuck that.
Is it
Fuck that.
time?
Yeah, is it time? Is it like, is it? Like, am I doing it now? No, fuck that.
Is it
shit.
about that time
Fuck
for me to
that
get to
shit.
that?
Fuck that
And it's
shit.
crazy because that's
Right.
how my mom does you. And
Right.
imagine, I lived with that 24 hours a day, as well as, I love my grandmother to death. So I was spent a lot of my life around my grandmother, my mother, the two churchiest people on earth.
Amen.
The two people, like I went to your Sunday service, but I was in the choir. So there was two choir. Now I didn't go to that after a while. I got older to do it. But when I first got into it, you had the 7 a.m. singing one. Then that was the early morning service.
I
You
hated
got
that fucking choir.
That
You
was
could
good.
never hang out. Oh my God. It would be like, yo, we gotta go out. We about to go to. No, I gotta go to.
Gotta go to choir
I ain't gonna be out till
Yeah,
like 9 to
all
10
through the
o'clock.
week. Yeah, you had choir rehearsal all through the week. You had Bible study on Wednesday, which you attended quite a few
I
of those
did.
with me in
That's where
there.
all the bitches was, to be honest. That's
That's
all.
where all of the
That's where
women
all of them was.
reason why I went. I went because, damn it, everybody else was there. And who you gonna hang out with?
Awful.
Everybody at church. So you went to
Awful.
First Baptist Church Denver. There was a lot of babies created First Baptist Church Denver, by the way.
Amen.
Anyhow,
Amen. Amen. That's a good time
I
of life.
was
That was a happy time of life. I remember things being very happy and pleasant when me and when my family was going to First Baptist Denver. Honest to God, Junior was alive. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All my memories of that church are happy. Up on that hill, So actually,
it's gotten a lot bigger and it's beautiful. They've done a lot of great stuff. I was just there a couple years ago. It was nice.
I have no doubt. But as you know, that didn't last long for me. The Jesus stuff.
No, after I turned 18,
Yeah.
I turned a lot. I started to rebel away from, before 18.
Yeah, you
I
would
started
well before
rebelling
that
a
because
lot.
we would argue a lot about it, and I would always in my mind I'd be thinking like, how much does this nigga really take this shit seriously? Because he out here fucking a lot of bitches. So like, how,
And
like,
I
how for,
didn't
like,
take any
how?
of it
I
seriously,
was
and
like,
that
how
was
for
after a
real, real?
while it caught up to me because I was like, because after a while you start having a conversation with yourself, like, okay, it's obvious I'm a heathen and I just don't care, and I'm a total savage. And my behavior is not reflecting what I say. I'm told I'm going to be believed in, but what it was is that I believed in God. I had no issue with that. I had no problem with the concept of a higher being. I had no problem set with basic, life laws around karma. And so, if you hit somebody, somebody's gonna hit you back.
Yeah.
If you steal from somebody,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna steal from you. I had common sense enough to know
Golden
that.
rule
And I
shit.
felt like, okay, if I can deal with that, I can deal with the higher being. I know I didn't make the sun come up. Something did that. I know that something created all this beauty. I didn't do that. So I was always good with that. My issue got into it is where we got into religious philosophy. That's where I was like, yeah, you started losing me because all my life I was taught that same story. If there's Jesus, he came, he died for the sins, and you should believe in him. If you don't, you're going to hell. And boy, Baptist Christians really lean into that go to hell part.
That hell
As a
part is
kid,
important, man.
that's very
It's very
important to
important
me
for some reason.
because they always be like, well, y'all gonna learn. Like they know something we don't know. All this shit is made up. Are you serious? I'm like, come on, man. So one day somebody got high, sat on a mountain, and said, you know what? I'm gonna come up with these commandments. Y'all gonna live by these doctrines and this philosophy. All I feel like with Jesus was not the only person doing all that stuff in the land. He just had the best PR guy or woman in the world. That's just what it was. It
I
was
think
a good
that's
sticky
fair. I think
Jesus.
I think that's a fair interpretation of things. As you know, I went through a lot of shit. I was in the Wicca for a minute. I was in the Islam. I think you can't get out of that shit. So I guess I'm technically still in Islam. Also, I was I meditate. I learned how to meditate through Buddhism. So I went through a lot of these things, and what I basically came away with at the end of the day was all of this stuff is a language. Every religion is a language in order to communicate about a thing that we cannot touch and that we cannot smell and we cannot taste and that we can barely even conceive of. You know what I'm saying? We could barely
I'm
hold it in
totally
our
okay
mouth,
with that. I'm
right?
totally okay with that. Well said. I have no
Yeah.
problem.
So yeah, so like I like nowadays the way I carry it is uh you know, I speak I could learn to speak Spanish, but I speak English much more quickly. Like I get around more fluently. So I find
Indeed.
like so when I found myself teaching my son how to pray, which is how I really measure what I really think about shit now. Like what am I teaching my kids to do? You know, like am I against drugs? Not really, because I'm definitely smoking this vape in front of them. So I must not that must not be a thing for me, right?
Right.
But at the same time, but also I me and my son pray. We pray at least once a week and multiple times a week if I can do it. But I don't teach him to pray as a Muslim, even though that's how I have been praying for the most time. I teach him to pray like my grandma taught me to pray, which is the
Right.
Lord's prayer. You know what I'm saying? So
Knock it out.
yeah, so in a weird way, it was like your mama was right. You know what I mean? Like eventually you go back to what you know, uh, because the object of the game is not to like impress anybody with how dope you can kick flip a religion or like change gods or some shit, which is what I realized after I changed gods 50 million times. The the object is to there's my son. Hold on. Yo, come out here and talk to me. I'm on a podcast. Okay. All right. All right, bye. The object is to get in is to use the tools in order to become the best possible version of yourself,
I
and
agree.
you know what I mean. So that's where I'm at with it now. Like, so I don't even if you believe, like when people say they believe in God or whatever, I'm like that's cool. You know, I don't even know. Like, it depends on what you mean by that. Like, do you mean you
Right.
believe in a male spirit who lives up in the clouds and that created everything in 6 days? Well, if that's what you believe in, no, I probably don't believe in that. Like talking about. But do I believe? Come here, son. You can come back.
Hey, little man. What's
Yeah.
up, sir?
But do I believe in a universe where that we can sort of that there has consciousness in it, that we are here sitting here thinking and having a conversation, so the universe has consciousness and we can appreciate beauty and we can appreciate what's good and what's bad. So if we can do that, then we can choose what's good and what's bad. And for that reason, we exist in a moral universe, you know? But not because necessarily that there is a scary sky daddy up in the clouds that's going to punish us because we do the right thing or the wrong thing. It's because we going to do some shit that our mama won't approve of. Or,
I agree.
you know what I mean?
I'm 100% on the same page with you.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that believes that that same level of existence, that level of consciousness exists within you. So you don't have to really look up. You need to look within first and foremost, because you are a part of what you are looking up to, and what you're praying to, and what you are about. We create balance. We're all together.
That's right.
So I truly believe of the existence of the higher being that exists within the person. And to me, your communication with that just depends upon what's comfortable for you, whatever you believe in. So I say for all the people who didn't know where I stood with that, yes, I believe in God. Absolutely, I do. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
It gets a little fuzzy when you just start adding all the other stuff. So I'll take God with no chaser. Thank you, sir.
That's right.
So on that, we move along to the last one here. Then we go and get out of here. And I don't even think we need to dwell too much on this. This week, cool announcement around the one of the I won't say they're twins, they're sisters. I think they clarified they're not twins. The Chloe and Halle Bailey, the sisters that are on the show Grownish, and they are just awesome. They are just beautiful ladies. They are so talented. Well, Halle Bailey, and hopefully I'm saying it correctly, was casted in the next Little Mermaid for Disney. Everybody is freaking out one way or the other. They're either freaking out with excitement, saying things like Black Girl Magic, you go girl, and this is beautiful, and bring it on Disney. Or you have the other people that are freaking out and saying, not my Ariel, and all these things like that. That mermaids aren't black. A fictional character doesn't have race. What are you talking about? Well, if a fictional character doesn't have race, imagine the first race that you thought of when you casted one was not one of color. Sir, your thoughts on Mermaids, Afros?
I thought we had gotten over this with Heimdall. I thought Marvel had finally taught us something about
we thought.
Yeah, I was wrong. Racists are among us. Yeah, I think at this point we just gotta accept that racists have internet and they're gonna use it. So that should not stop us from getting our life from the fact that this is probably the most perfect and accurate casting of a soul to a character that could ever exist, because Halle is absolutely a Little Mermaid.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful
amazing.
in every way. She's really great.
She even speaks and sings like a beautiful Little Mermaid.
Yeah, if you have not heard her sing Unforgettable on YouTube, or it's on YouTube right now, or Instagram, you can go see it. Absolute beautiful voice. She's a beautiful woman. She has a great acting ability. I think she's going to bring something very special to the role. If you have not had a chance to see her on Grownish, she is absolutely entertaining, and I find it great, and it seems to be appropriate that they seem to be giving that character on that show a lot more lines. She seems to be kind of giving him a lot more life in the show, so it looks like they're kind of preparing her for it, kind of thrusting her forward. And keep in mind that these are proteges of Beyonce, so know that they will be nothing less than amazing in what they do. So I think it's a great thing, and if you have to put together all that energy in order to hate someone just for being casted in a specific thing with Disney, then you have way bigger problems in that particular movie. So to the racists, we say, it's our Ariel, Black Girl Magic. Anyway, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, man, come check us out. Again, me and Mel are podcasting still actively at Woke with Kids. We just do it maybe twice a month now. I think that's accurate, fair to say. Other than that, come listen to this podcast. Subscribe to us. Give us a 5-star rating. Do something. Be active. Be about your fanship. God damn it.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Well, shout out to Langston over there, just big, black, and beautiful, and smart, looking
joy.
like his dad and his mom, kind of just combined there, and all that stuff like that. You looking good, young king, man. Do your thing. In terms of myself, you can find me on Twitter, AlDiddy1712, ALDIDDY1712. You can find me on my Instagram, Algernon's October. You can come check me out. I'm always posting stuff out there. Check out my latest article that I did with Brian White, Plastic Magazine. Brian White's in the new show Ambitions, which is on the Oprah Winfrey Network, produced by Will Packer. We're doing big things here, man.
Big things, brother. I love
And
it.
of course, check us out on all of our platforms in terms of where you can find podcasts from your Spotify's to your SoundClouds to your Apple iTunes, Google Play, all the places. Come check us out. Leave us a 5-star rating, all that stuff like that. We appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We just two brothers talking music, culture, life, and everything in between. Let's go. Episode 73.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
That was great. That was great. All right. Bye bye out there in live land. See you guys
And
later.
peace out, y'all. Yeah, okay, yeah. You know you gotta